You're listening to Big World Network.
Amazing Grace, Episode 10. Written by James Hellvig. Read by Meagan Hedin. Regis, no! Alberto's tortured scream pierces the alley as he hobbles quickly forward. Tammy crumbles to the pavement just beyond Regis, who is writhing in agony. One hand clutches her left eye while the other still holds a blade, crimson with Tammy's blood. Jorge spins towards Alberto's cry, his bat raised, seemingly torn between bashing the kid's brains out and finishing off his injured boss. Taking a half step in Alberto's direction, he stops short at the loud report of a gunshot and the sharp splank of the bullets as they impact into the dumpster behind him. Alberto holds the unfamiliar weapon shakily. He'd liberated it from Tammy's personal bag when he'd snuck out of the church during the confusion of the students and parents crowding the hall, all trying to find out what was happening. Gasping and nauseated, he squints down the sight as he makes his way toward his fallen instructor and Regis. Regis is sitting up now, still clinging to the knife and covering her eye, a thin line of blood trailing between her fingers. Snarling, she kicks her pants off and then struggles to her feet, heading toward Tammy and Jorge. As Alberto struggles to line up a shot, Jorge turns, throwing the bat into the dumpster. He steps back behind the side of the dumpster in defeat. Exhausted, Alberto lets the weapon fall to his side, calling out to Regis, who seems intent on stabbing the fallen blonde woman in front of her. "Stop! Regis, it's Tammy! It's Sensei!" As he reaches them, the woman Alberto knows as Regis turns to face him, dropping her left hand to reveal a bloody and ruined left eye. The piercing violet of the other eye meets his beseeching look of amazement. The lines of the face he knows so well are contorted in a rage he wouldn't have dreamed possible. Dimly, he recognizes something else. Madness. "Lover," she exclaims brightly, "you should have stayed away." Before the stunned young man can react, Demonis Alumno slams the thin-bladed knife into Alberto's right side, impaling his heart. Moaning, he sinks to his knees, his weapon clattering to the pavement. With his eyes locked on her, he whispers, "Regis, I love you." As Alberto falls face forward, Demonis Alumno jerks the blade free, hearing the tortured squall of heart-breaking tires and wailing sirens that drown out her own animalistic scream. Flashes of sound and sight disorient Tammy. A shouted name, tortured screams. Bright lights and a collage of faces parade in and out of her vision. Her memories are disjointed. Then, blackness. Mac storms down the hospital hall leading to the emergency surgical center. Flanking him are the SWAT team commander and Father Bernard. Mother Steele is in the waiting room trying to console the shocked and grieving families and church members. Barking orders, the harried police captain tells a tactical officer, "I don't give a damn about overtime or manpower issues. You secure this entire floor this instant. Nobody in or out until you clear it through me personally. Got it?" Nodding his understanding, the grim-faced man begins to turn away. Mac stops him by putting a hand on his shoulder and lowering his voice, saying, "Marcus, I know, but this is bigger than it appears. And unless I'm very wrong, there's about to be some heavy reinforcements heading this way. Stay sharp." Seeing the worry in his usually unflappable captain's demeanor, the younger man straightens his posture, answering, "Got it, boss. We'll sew it up tight." Continuing down the corridor, Mac and Father Bernard arrive at the nurse's station outside of the operating theater. Stopping, the two men wait for the agitated head nurse to finish her call. Holding up her hand to forestall their questions, she says simply, "No news, Captain. Your friend is still on the table." Father Bernard's phone buzzes insistently. He steps away from the busy desk, answering quietly. "Hello, Dale. I'm sorry. I have nothing new to tell you." A long pause and he continues. "Yes, I will. And I'll be sure to tell him." Closing his eyes and breathing deeply, Father Bernard turns to find Mac fidgeting with a cigarette. "Why don't you step outside and smoke that thing? It'll calm you down." Grunting in response, Mac says softly, "I'm assuming Delta is en route?" Nodding solemnly, Father Bernard replies, "Yes. Dale said in force to be exact. There are some things he wants done." Pursing his lips, Father Bernard continues, "He wants an announcement made, and he wanted me to tell you that if anyone breaches your security before they arrive, He'll hold you personally responsible. Frowning, Mac mutters, "Him and me both. What's the message?" Running a hand across his eyes and through his hair, Father Bernard sighs loudly before answering. "Mac, you're going to like that even less. I know I do." Mother Steele looks up as the grim-faced doctor enters the packed waiting room. It is the same unfortunate man who'd had to relay the pronouncement of Alberto's death a few hours before. A weary Father Bernard trails behind, looking dismayed, and Mother Steele's heart sinks. Standing, feeling slightly surreal, she asks, "George?" Shaking his head, a single tear tracking down his gray, stubble-covered face, the elderly priest croaks, "She's gone." In the shocked silence of the room, Mother Steele's softly muttered, "Shit," is clearly audible. Swaying slightly, the tough nun's eyes blur with tears as she sits down hard on the floor. She is quickly surrounded by students and parents, whose sobs of anguish mingle with her own.
This has been a presentation of Big World Network. Visit us on BigWorldNetwork.com for more free weekly series, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to Big World Network.